Once again, congratulations to Teofimo Lopez in becoming a 3-division world champion by defeating Rolly Romero this past weekend in Las Vegas, Nevada in the T-Mobile Arenas. Y'all already know that Teofimo Lopez has captured the WBA welterweight strap, which makes the welterweight division even more interesting, even more lucrative. And the matchups that we've been talking about for such a long time in reference to a potential of a Teo versus Ryan, Teo versus Haney, the rematch between Ryan versus Haney now is actually more meaningful now because they all got belts. You know what I'm saying? So it's not only just a big fight, it's now a legacy fight between all these guys. But of course, you already know that Ryan Garcia going to be facing Conor Ben, and hopefully, you know what I'm saying, Ryan Garcia does prevail so we can get the type of matchup that we've been wanting to see for such a long time. As we all know, that Devin Haney, and once again, my condolences and prayers go out to Devin Haney. His mother passed away, and my prayers, rains on you and your family, and hope that each day your heavy heart just get lighter and lighter. And also shout out to Liam Power, but that's not the name that we've been matching him up with. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully, when he get a unification bout, probably with Devin or Teo, but. And we've seen Teofimo Lopez in a recent interview out there with Ring, you know what I'm saying? And we've seen the picture, and we see him with Claressa Shields. Hey, I'm gonna tell you like this, Teo, he got a big heart. He got a forgiving heart because hey, I'm actually surprised that a person that was rooting against him in one of the biggest fights of the year out there this past January 31st, in which Teofimo Lopez was defeated by Shakur Stevenson, and we're seeing Claressa Shields in the locker room hyping Shakur Stevenson to beat Teofimo Lopez, while Teofimo Lopez throughout his whole career, him and his family has supported Claressa Shields.
We're family with Claressa Shields, okay. And I'm so happy that she was the first person to have an undisputed to
go back-to-back undisputed.
Yeah, back-to-back, yeah.
Publicly so much, you know what I'm saying? Even in my channel, when I used to interview Teo and his dad, they used to praise Claressa Shields. So it was kind of strange for Claressa Shields to go against and root against Teofimo Lopez, somebody that had been supporting her since day one. And that's what just shows you the character of Claressa Shields, and shows you the character of Teofimo Lopez, because he's a forgiving guy. I don't think I would be throwing some pictures with her if I was Teofimo Lopez, but hey, it is what it is. And what I'm saying is, she knows Shakur and she knows Teo. So when you know two people and they're gonna go to war, or they battling, the best thing you could do is stay neutral. You know what I'm saying? Because now you look like you just clout chasing Teofimo Lopez because he just got a great victory. You know what I'm saying? And now you see her in social media, go ahead, Teo, and stuff like that. Why you wasn't like that when he was facing Honor Barbosa? Why you wasn't like that when he was facing Shakur Stevenson? Huh? You know what I'm saying? The Teofimo Lopez family, like Teofimo Lopez Sr. has said that you are like family. And this is the way that you repay them by going against them publicly. You should have stayed neutral if you are close to Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez. But regardless, let's move on to the welterweight division. As we all also know, Jack Catterall is going to be the mandatory to whoever holds the WBA strap, which is Teofimo Lopez. Now, of course, we respect mandatories, right? I think the mandatories is good in the sport of boxing, especially respectable mandatories. You know what I'm saying? But once we have a matchup, a unification bout that is very lucrative, and the fight that we've been asking for, I'm sorry, but I don't give a damn about the Jack Catterall getting the opportunity to face Teofimo Lopez. I'll be real and I'll be honest. You know what I'm saying? There's certain mandatories that's for example, I respected the Earl Spence being a mandatory to a Kell Brook. I mean, that needed to take place, and Kell Brook gave an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Jack Catterall was a mandatory, and he stepped aside with Josh Taylor, right? And he lost to Josh Taylor the first fight. Also, he lost to Honor Barbosa, a guy that Teofimo Lopez beat. So this is not a fight that I'm like, oh my God, you gotta give Jack Catterall a mandatory right now. Look. And then Jack Catterall said that he skipped the line, that Teofimo Lopez skipped the line after losing to Shakur Stevenson. I mean, look, Teofimo Lopez has been a reigning champion. Let me tell you, like, a guy like Teofimo Lopez don't go in back of the line. So I understand But I don't agree with Jack Catterall by saying that, well, Teofimo Lopez skipped the line that he was gifted a title shot. Well, Ryan Garcia was gifted a title shot, and he don't got the legacy or the resume or the accomplishment of a Teofimo Lopez. He lost to Rolly Romero, and Ryan Garcia got a title shot. As a matter of fact, Rolly Romero got a title shot after losing as well, moving up. So maybe it's something that's wrong with your management or your team, that you're getting skipped, or maybe they don't feel like you are they don't trust you enough to go into these championship fights or put you in a position as such. You know what I'm saying? So don't blame that he got gifted, or Rolly got gifted, or Ryan got gifted, or Teofimo Lopez got gifted a title shot after losing. What is your team doing to get you in that type of position? Now, of course, you're in a mandatory position, but at the end of the day, if I could get a unification bout between Teo versus Paru, Teo versus Haney, Teo versus Ryan, then of course unification trumps a mandatory. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I respect mandatories, but at the end of the day, if I could get a better unification bout, did anybody respect that Abdul Kokorov when he was the mandatory challenger almost for 3 years for Earl Spence? Or did we want to see Earl Spence versus unification bout between Earl Spence versus Terrence Bud Crawford, Earl Spence versus Keith Thurman? We didn't give a damn about Abdul Kokorov. So I don't want to hear people say, oh my God, we need to get a Jack Catterall versus Teo. And also, as we all know, Teofimo Lopez got a suspension because of his cut. So he won't be ready. He won't be ready and prepared 100% for a bout in November, which is like the deadline of what Jack Catterall is stating. In my opinion, they could seek a guy like Liam Paru. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Devin Haney going to be back in the ring. Of course, the passing of his mom, I don't know if he's going to be mentally ready and to going back in the gym. I don't know what maybe that could motivate him to go back in the gym and get, you know what I'm saying, and release some pain. But we don't know about Devin Haney, and we can't rush Devin Haney just like we couldn't rush Anthony Joshua to get back in the ring after a major loss, but ain't nothing like losing a mom. So I'm not a fan of the mandatory towards Teofimo Lopez, even though mandatory is a mandatory, right? But he hasn't been ordered yet. And I mean, look, Jack Catterall is doing the right thing for calling out Teofimo Lopez and putting the pressure up. But in a division right now like this, the last thing that anybody want to hear when we got all these champions is that Teofimo Lopez can't fight a unification bout because we got to get the Jack Catterall fight. If Jack Catterall was undefeated, right? And it was like a force to be reckoned with. If he was like a Jerome Booth Ennis when he was in mandatory position, or Virgil Ortiz, and we were going to be talking about the Virgil Ortiz, I thought that he was going to get the Fundura fight. He's not getting the Fundura fight. But if he was that type of mandatory, you know what I'm saying? Like Moses was, or that type, but you're not even undefeated. You haven't even overwhelmed or set an illusion or perception that you can be the guy. And that's why I believe that the boxing fan is not going to pressure that mandatory, because you lost to guys that Teofimo Lopez already beat. I don't know that there's not no triangle theory, but in the end of the day, I mean, I'm not desperate to see that fight. Let me know what y'all think. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. This is Punch Drunk. Love you. God bless, and on to the next.